Surprised my GF early with gifts, overheard her insult me to her best friend. I came home earlier than usual because I wanted to surprise my girlfriend with some gifts to celebrate her landing a new job. But as soon as I walked in, I overheard her laughing on the phone with her male best friend, making fun of my body and my intelligence. So yeah, I broke up with her right then and there, and in return, she trashed my house and made it her personal revenge project. But before I dive into all that, let me say this, I've noticed the channel's been slowing down a bit lately. If you're here and you like these stories, hitting that subscribe button is the easiest way to show support. It's fast, it's free, and it really helps keep this community growing strong. Hey everyone, I'm 30 years old, and my now ex-girlfriend, Maya, is 28. We were together for a little over 2 years. I work as a veterinarian, and we actually met at my clinic. She'd just moved to town and brought her dog in for an ear infection. What was supposed to be a quick 15-minute appointment somehow turned into us talking for over an hour. I'd never felt that kind of spark with anyone before. It hit me hard. Before Maya came into the picture, I was just living the typical bachelor life. Honestly, I had started to think I'd just ride solo forever. That lifestyle, casual hookups, no strings, was getting old fast. It felt empty and pointless. Maya was different. She had this magnetic personality and a big circle of friends. Her closest friend? A guy named Carter from her old hometown. Now, I trusted Maya, but I'd be lying through my teeth if I said that friendship didn't bother me, at least a little. I never blew up at her or made it into a fight, though. She told me they'd been friends forever and that nothing romantic or sexual had ever happened between them. And honestly, I believed her. I'm not some jealous maniac, I can handle my insecurities. I even tried to make friends with Carter myself and get along with him. He's visited our city 3 times since we got together, and he's a decent guy on the surface. But I always got the vibe that he didn't really like me. Maya says he's just being protective, but to me, it comes off more like he's jealous. Maya finished grad school this past spring, but finding a job since then has been rough for her. We've been living together for about a year, and I've been fine covering rent and other expenses while she's been job hunting. I'm in a good place financially, so it wasn't a big deal. Still, I've always been careful not to make it too comfortable for her to stay unemployed. I want her to have her own financial freedom. I think it's important for both people in a relationship to have their own independence. So, in a gentle way, I made it clear that once she landed a job, I expected her to start contributing to our shared costs. Anyway, Monday rolled around, and she texted me at work with the big news. She got the job. It was the one she really had her heart set on, and she'd gone through several brutal interviews to get it. I was beyond proud of her, and honestly, I felt like celebrating. So I left the clinic early without telling her, asked my staff to handle things, and went out to grab some surprises. I picked up her favorite alcohol, a spread of Chinese takeout. She loves it, and a bouquet of flowers. I even got her a necklace she had pointed out in a store a couple weeks back, not crazy expensive, but it had a little shark charm on it. She's obsessed with sharks, so I knew she'd love it. I had hidden the necklace in the basement and was planning to give it to her once she'd completely forgotten about it. When I got home, I came in through the basement so I could grab the necklace before surprising her. As I reached the top of the basement stairs and opened the door, I heard her voice. She was on the phone. Normally, I wouldn't eavesdrop, but she was laughing so hard, full-on belly laughter, that I stopped and just listened for a second. It was kind of adorable at first, so I figured I'd wait until she hung up before making my entrance. Turns out, she was talking to Carter. No surprise there, they talk at least once a week. But then I caught what they were laughing about, and it hit me like a punch to the gut. It took me a moment to really process it, but she was laughing at me. At our sex life, to be exact. She said something like, no, he can't even compare to Lucas. Lucas is packing at least 3 more inches than him. Then she added, I feel bad every time I eat a baby carrot around him. It must be traumatizing to watch me chomp on something the same size as his junk. She joked, his body's fine, as long as he keeps his boxers on, and then burst out laughing again. Now listen, I don't really care what strangers on Reddit might think about my, dimensions. But what hurt the most was that she was mocking something that wasn't even true. She was just making things up to get a laugh. And honestly, that made it sting even worse. I mean, I don't really know about this Lucas guy she was talking about. Maybe he was some kind of stud, but me? I'm just plain average. Nothing special, just good old-fashioned average. I'm not trying to brag or make excuses here. It's nothing to write home about, but it's definitely not something to laugh at either. I've never felt insecure about it. But hearing her tear me down like that, especially to a guy I already feel uneasy about, was just beyond painful. And honestly, hurtful doesn't even cover it. She went on to mock me for being good-looking, but supposedly not very smart. The truth is, I'm highly educated, and being intelligent has never been a question for me. I know I'm smart, I know I'm good-looking, and yeah, I've got an average-sized penis. Thanks very much. After that, I just left. Did I toss the flowers out my car window on the way? Yep. Did I break down and cry in a parking lot? Yeah, that happened too. I think she might have heard the basement door slam shut. Maybe she even saw me driving off because she started texting me pretty quickly after I left, asking when I'd be back. That was Monday. Since then, I haven't brought any of it up. I don't even know how to. I guess I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. It's embarrassingly painful. But man, I still love this girl. I'm not saying I'm ready to forgive her, far from it. I just want to be clear about how hard this whole mess is hitting me. I know I should talk to her about it, but how do you even start a conversation like that? If you have any advice on how to approach this, I'm all ears. I'm so hurt right now, and honestly, I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to forgive her for what she said and did. Edit? Wow. Thanks, everyone. I want to add that I'm definitely going to break up with Maya. Tonight, I grabbed a beer with 3 friends and told them what happened. Their advice pretty much matches what most of you have said. Dump her, and do it fast. I also called my mom and told her everything, the whole embarrassing story. We're really close, and I wanted her to know what was going on. I've never heard her so angry about anything before. She even knew I'd bought a ring for Maya. I'll post an update once I've broken up with her, but it might take me a few days to do that because I know I'm going to be a wreck emotionally. Thanks again to everyone for all the comments, support, and encouragement. I honestly didn't expect so many people to be rooting for me like this. Update. Alright, Reddit strangers who have been rooting for me, I stayed strong and broke up with Maya on Thursday evening. These last couple of days have been some of the most intense and dramatic of my entire life. I'm completely drained. Things got pretty ugly on her end. Sorry this is so long, but a lot happened, especially after advice from my friends, my mom, my brother, and many of you. I met up with her in a quiet, but still public place. The plan was to avoid giving her any chance to spin the story and blame me for everything, like saying she left because I hurt her or some other nonsense. I want to believe she wouldn't do that, but after everything, who knows? Better to be safe than sorry. I thought about just packing up her stuff and cutting her loose with no explanation. But after being together over 2 years, I figured the mature thing would be to confront her calmly and give her a chance to explain herself. Even if her explanation didn't change my mind about breaking up. So I took her to a wine bar downtown with those cozy little booths that have half curtains for privacy. Since Monday, she'd been extra sweet and affectionate, which made me wonder if she was feeling guilty about how she'd acted, or if maybe she thought I'd hurt her somehow, or if she was just clueless about why I'd been so distant lately. She dressed up really nice. I'll admit, despite everything, she looked absolutely stunning. She was all over me with sexy comments about things she wanted to do later. Normally, my precious little baby shark would have been thrilled by that kind of attention, but given the situation, it was hard to act normal and not feel awkward. I'd rehearsed what I was going to say to her over and over in my head. Once we sat down and had our wine, I started talking. I don't remember my exact words, my adrenaline was through the roof, and everything feels a little fuzzy. Basically, I told her how much I loved her, that she's the only woman I've ever felt such a deep connection with, and how I'd opened up to her completely and trusted her like no one else. I told her she's the only woman I've ever seriously thought about marrying, the only one I've gone ring shopping for. I left out the part about how I'd actually already bought the ring and how I'd even pictured having kids with her in the next few years. She kept interrupting, telling me how much she loves me too. Then I looked her dead in the eye and asked her, plain and simple, if she loved me that much, why the hell did she go and make fun of me so horribly to Carter? I gotta say, the look on her face at that moment was a little satisfying. Of course, she denied it at first, acting like she had no clue what I was talking about. She said Carter knows how much she loves me and that she's never made fun of me to him. I just stared at her and said, come on, Myra. But she kept denying it, even after I told her I'd come home early on Monday and caught her. It was frustrating as hell, but I stayed calm. I told her we both know she was lying, and that what she said was unforgivable. I couldn't wrap my head around why she would say something like that to anyone, especially to Carter. She still denied it, acting like I was the crazy one. She said she loves me so much she's never been unhappy with our sex life, would never complain about my size, and she knows how smart and sweet I am. That's why she loves me. If I hadn't overheard everything myself, I might have believed her. She deserves an Oscar for that performance. Some people asked if I was sure she was talking about me when I overheard her. She was comparing me to her ex-boyfriend, making fun of his crack and dick, but she said my name directly while making the comparison. I am absolutely sure she was talking about me and that she was flat out lying to my face. I told her I'd drive us home so she could grab the essentials she needed and her dog. My brother and his girlfriend would be at the house too. I wanted there to be witnesses, so no one could accuse me of being aggressive or destructive while she packed. I told her I'd pack up the rest of her stuff and leave it out for her to collect whenever she wanted. She was in total disbelief that I was actually breaking up with her. She begged me not to, but my mind was made up and I wasn't backing down. It was hard not to cry in front of her when she kept saying how much she wanted to be with me forever, how she'd planned to be the mother of my children someday. I own the house, and since Myra never helped with rent or utilities, I wasn't shy about being blunt and kicking her out. She kept asking what she was supposed to do and where she was going to sleep. I told her that's not really my problem anymore, and she's got plenty of friends she can crash with until she gets her own place. Basically, all the furniture and decor are mine. She's just got clothes, toiletries, and whatever else she needs to take with her. All the redecorating she did? On my dime. Then the waterworks started. She began crying, saying she didn't understand how I could do this to her. She said she thought I was a nice guy like a million times over. I told her I am a nice guy. That's exactly why I didn't just toss her stuff on the lawn, change the locks, and give her no explanation. Then, out of nowhere, she dug the knife in even deeper. She finally admitted she didn't know why she said those things to Carter. She said maybe it's because Carter brings out the best in her, and she's able to laugh about stuff that would normally make her cry. Like, apparently, my penis. I told her it's really sad if what I heard was her best. It was petty. Normally, I don't stoop to snide remarks, but I told her she could go back to her hometown and live with Carter or her 9-inch ex-boyfriend. Watching those tears disappear in seconds? Priceless. Apparently, I'm an asshole. I don't know how to treat women. I'm a loser. My penis is tiny. I'm doomed to be alone forever. She said she never really loved me, that I was more like a friend, but she stayed because she didn't want to hurt me. Makes a lot of sense, right? She said if I ever proposed again, she would have said no. Yep. I'm a loser and an asshole. Oh, and just in case I didn't get the message the first time, she meant it when she called my penis a baby carrot. And apparently, I'm going to die alone. I told her that dying alone is way better than dying married to someone who's cruel and doesn't love or respect me. No joke, she suddenly let out this long, ear-piercing scream, not words, just a raw, loud scream that made my skin crawl. Then, without another word, she stormed out of there, yelling something about me being a disgusting pig. After paying the bill and apologizing to the waiter for the whole drama, I left. Myra was just standing outside, tears streaming down her face. I know what she did was terrible, and everything she said earlier was awful. But even so, seeing her like that, I didn't want to just leave her stranded on the sidewalk. I'm in New England, and it was already pretty cold out. So I told her I'd give her a ride back to the house to grab her things, but she had to pack fast and stay somewhere else afterward. She agreed. We didn't say a word the entire ride. Talk about awkward. When we got home, my brother and his wife were there. His wife stayed inside while Myra packed her stuff, and my brother hung out with me outside. Nothing too dramatic, just a tense silence. Eventually, a girlfriend came to pick Myra up. Before she left, she handed back my keys. She kept texting me all night, swinging wildly from angry to bitter and back again. I didn't respond once. Finally, yesterday morning, I shot her a text saying her stuff was on the porch and she should come get it while I was at work. I didn't hear from her all day, until just before I was about to head home. She sent a really nasty text, wishing me everything awful you could imagine. I ignored it. But when I got home, the place was a total disaster. She'd smashed everything. I don't know if she made a spare key without me knowing or if she knows how to pick locks, but somehow she got back inside. And she destroyed the place. She smashed things that can't be replaced. Tore up furniture. Clogged 2 sinks and left the water running. Left the fridge door wide open and threw food all over the kitchen. It was a total wreck. The only somewhat thoughtful thing she did was lock my 2 dogs in a bedroom. Guess she didn't want them cutting themselves on broken glass or eating spoiled food. I've got 2 vehicles, a daily driver and an SUV for work. The SUV is for house calls, especially when I might have to transport a large or exotic animal to the clinic. I'd completely forgotten I'd given her a key to the SUV for emergencies. I went out to check the car and found she trashed the inside, too. Flour everywhere, plus tomato soup spilled all over the seats. Stuff is just stuff. But it's the fact she could be so childish and vicious on top of everything else that blows my mind. Last weekend, I took her to a play. We went out with her and some friends, played Monopoly one night, and even made up a drinking game around it. We hung out watching Netflix. Made love more than a few times. And now this weekend, my house and vehicle are trashed, and honestly, I feel wrecked too. It's crazy how fast things can change. Not my proudest move, but I was so pissed off that I went straight to Costco's instant delivery and ordered 25-pound worth of baby carrots, sent right to a friend's place, addressed to Myra. That's 100 pounds of baby carrots, delivered within the hour. She fired off a string of creative and insulting texts that night. Yeah, it was petty, but honestly, my only regret is that it was a waste of food. Hopefully, she donates them or cooks some or something. So, that's that. I blocked her last night after the nasty texts just kept coming. Right now, I'm feeling pretty beaten down and have cried more in these last few days than I have in a long time. But it's clear I made the right call. Myra is emotionally unstable and immature. She's cruel. And I know I deserve better. Since Monday, I've been reflecting a lot on myself as a partner, trying to figure out what might have driven her to act this way, if she held some resentment toward me. I'll be 100% honest. I work a lot. I try hard to make time for the people I love and to leave work at work when I've had a rough day, but sometimes I don't. I know that. Myra and I fought about it before, and I've tried to pace my days to get home at a decent hour. I do my best to leave bad days at work behind when I get home. But anyone who's a vet or has worked with one knows we're basically on call 24/7. Emergencies happen. Sometimes I have to stay with patients overnight or check on them constantly. Taking time off is doable, but challenging. My staff is amazing and can handle most things, but I still get calls and texts when I'm off or on vacation. I'm sure there were times Myra felt like she was second to my job. Well, actually, I know there were, because she told me so. I did try to make changes. There's only so much I can do, though. I've never been intentionally mean to her. Sure, I've had bad days, been grumpy or distracted. We've had disagreements and fights, but nothing unhealthy or over the top. I honestly thought our relationship was solid and that we were both happy. I know I was. It's hard not to question myself, wondering if I was a letdown or if I neglected her enough to make her feel unloved to the point she acted like that. I don't know, but no matter what, the way she tore me down and how she handled the breakup was completely out of line. I didn't deserve that. That's on her. So, thanks for all the support and kind words. It's been really good to read your advice and encouragement. Now it's time for me and my baby, Kara, to find someone who appreciates us for who we are. Edit. I did file a police report and took pictures, hoping it'll help with recouping some of the losses through insurance. Realistically, I doubt anything will come of the police report since I can't prove it was her. Same goes for suing her in small claims court, and honestly, I don't want to deal with her any more than I have to. I'm hoping insurance covers the damages and I can just move on with my life.